Are you somebody who struggles with your takeaway? You're never sure. Should it be more outside and up, inside? Can never quite figure out where it should be. I'm going to explain to you in this video what needs to happen, how it needs to happen, and provide you with a drill that's going to help you perfect your takeaway every single time. Hi there, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Filming today at Laganview Golf Centre, just outside Belfast in Northern Ireland. Pretty unbelievable range, as you can see. If you're new to the channel, I would love it if you would subscribe, drop a comment, hit the like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Okay, so what is the takeaway? The takeaway simply means when we go from our address position to shaft parallel to the ground in the backswing, that is our takeaway. That first segment of the golf swing, the shaft parallel, is takeaway. We've all seen the takeaway. Most of us know what it should look like. What we're trying to achieve is a takeaway that looks like when it's parallel to the ground, we would like to see the shaft running very close to toe line. We would like to see the sole of the golf club matching in with the spine of the player, as opposed to the sole of the golf club with an open face or perhaps a closed face. That would be the perfect takeaway. Now, whilst we don't hit the golf ball with our takeaway, for me, in my experience, it does set the tone of an entire golf swing. I'm going to relate it to maybe more the slicers of this world. Very typical takeaway for the slicers will be a takeaway that works not straight back into that perfect position. It works a little bit more around behind. And when the player gets their arms parallel to the ground, the pitch of the shaft sits very, very flat. Problem from here is the momentum of this flat underneath takeaway means that the player must then lift. And when we lift, that momentum brings you forwards. Very difficult to lift, stop, and shallow the club back down again. So as the player lifts, the club works forwards, very steep, works outside the golf ball, can result in heel strikes, big shanks, can also result in path that works very much across the golf ball, and it will look a lot like this. So I get lots of curve, lots of slice, not conducive to distance or good quality strikes. So if I relate it to that slicer and we talk about how it goes behind more, what would that slicer have to do to get a better takeaway and allow the momentum of the club rather than having to lift and move forwards? How could we put the golf club in such a position that it was allowed to fall and shallow, producing a slightly more square path and better shots? Think of it in two ways, okay? There's wrist hinge, which brings the club up and down, and there's body rotation, which brings the club back around. Now, all good players will have a mixture of the two. In the takeaway that I talked about, the burying behind over the top slicer, I'm going to talk you through what they're lacking. So if I was to make a takeaway, if I was to do my takeaway, without any wrist hinge, the club will work around behind my body, have to lift later. If I was to, let's say, hinge the golf club to parallel to the ground, if I was to offset that at a 45-degree angle, so from this perspective, we would just hinge that golf club, set it to a 45-degree angle, then add a little bit of that rotation of the body. Remember, that's the part that brings the club around behind you. We're adding in more of the up and down motion. So once again, hinge it parallel to the ground, set it at a 45-degree angle. Now let's encourage the around portion. So if I bring the body, notice how the club sits pretty much in the perfect position. That's totally different from the underhinge golf swing and the lots of body rotation and then around behind. Let me know if that's something that you do. There's obviously, that would be more the takeaway we would see. Wouldn't see as much of a takeaway that goes very much up here and back around again. You might see more of those on TV as the players play. But let me know in the comments below, is that something that you do? And if it is, this will really, really help you. So I want you to think of what you need is more up and down to mix in with that around, okay? So what I want you to think of is when you take your setup position in the grip, you'll feel that the heel pad of your left hand is positioned on top of the butt of the golf club. Now, If it's in the right place and I push down on the handle, you'll see the club wants to go up. So that's the motion that we're trying to add into the takeaway to get the club in the right place. Let's work on that a little bit, okay? So just from your address position, just as the golf club's working back in that takeaway, start to feel like as you move the club back, you're pushing down on the handle. Now, we're not pushing down, then turning, we are blending the two together. So if I didn't push down on the handle, I get a lot of around. If I push down on the handle, the club wants to climb, the club head wants to climb a little bit quicker. Now I still have exactly the same amount of rotation on my body, the same amount of around, but I'm just increasing that up and down motion with the wrist hinge. And lo and behold, we get the club in a pretty functional position. Now from here, what's the trend from there? It will go more up, which allows the player more room to let the club shallow in the downswing instead of that rotation, lifting and moving forwards. So we're trying to blend those two together. Okay, so if we introduce a drill to help us feel like we're pushing down on the handle to get the club set in the right position, grab yourself an alignment stick, place it to the back of the grip, and you want to have the alignment stick out the left side of your body. What we're looking to do is, if I'm somebody who brings the club around behind, we'll see that the relationship between the stick and the left side of your body, we're going to see a big separation. So it's going to look a lot like this, okay? The stick has left my body very quickly, club's gone this way, we get the steepen on the downswing. If I push that pressure and apply that pressure into the handle to give me more of that up and down, just as I stand here now, you'll see that just by doing that, the stick is sliding down my thigh. Let's blend the little bit of rotation that around with this and see what we get. So a perfect takeaway should look a little bit more like this. For me as a golf coach, I would always favor the club head being a little bit this side of the hands as opposed to this side underneath, where we get that stick separating very quickly. So we're working lots of exercises. I can just feel that stick working down my thigh. That creates the more upright backswing to allow that room to shallow the golf club. Crucial that we can get that club set in the best possible place to give you the greatest opportunity to get the club in the slot and give you the best chance of good strike, good distance, and maximizing your potential. As I say, the other direction, I don't see too many players playing at the elite level with that habit and that tendency. So when you paste it all together, I think it's important that we do this pretty slowly. So I would get you to make some, shaft parallel, arm parallel through, arm parallel this direction, just to try to get a feel for that. So you can do it with the alignment stick, or when you've done enough of the alignment stick exercises, we're just going to hit a little shot. We do that, okay? So from here, just simple little shots through. It's helping you keep the golf club on plane as close as we can get to it without you having to go from a very flat plane backswing, steepening the golf club, which is the worst thing you can pretty much do with a driver. So hopefully that has helped you understand what the takeaway is, why it's important. As I say, we don't hit the golf ball with our takeaway, but you can see it sets a huge tone for what happens in the golf swing. So if you find this helpful, I'd love it if you would share it, subscribe, like it, drop a comment, let me know if there's anything else you need me to clarify or any questions. I'll be happy to do so. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.